I think my first memory of soccer is probably just playing around with the ball in the house. There was always one around. I always had one somehow. I don't know how it got there. It's probably my dad, but I fell in love with it. I don't remember the age, maybe 5, 6, 7 years old. I was just kind of like, I'm really good at this and I really enjoy it, so I'm gonna keep doing it. And you know, of course every kid dreams of being a professional one day, and that was something that I always wanted to be. And you know, if they ask you in school, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know, my answer was I want to be a professional. But it was never like, you don't really think of it as a kid as more than that. I just played because I loved it. I think a lot of my friends actually didn't really care. A lot of them were playing sports and wanted me to join them, and you know, because everybody wants to play with their friends, stuff like that. And for me, it was, you know, I kind of had to decide that I only had time enough to do certain things. I couldn't do everything that I wanted to. I think a lot of people wish they had more time to do more things, but you know, I kind of made that decision to stick with soccering. I played for Texans soccer club. I was at, you know, the normal high school where I lived, and they basically said, you know, you're missing too much school, because we were traveling for different games and stuff like that. And you know, they were like, you know, it's not really gonna, you can't continue to do this and still finish school when you want to, or at all, really. And so I talked to my parents, and we ended up making the decision to do online school so I could basically have more flexible time in my schedule to be able to do what I needed to do for soccer, whether it was travel or training or whatever it was, but also be able to do school, but outside of, you know, the regular hours where it was, you know, I think it was like 7 to 2 or 2:30 at the time. My under 19 season, I moved to play from Houston at FC Dallas and their academy system. They saw me playing and had seen me play for a while and said, hey, we want you to come play for us here, you know, and there's an opportunity of an MLS team to move up to, which I didn't have where I currently was. And FC Dallas is, in my opinion, the best, if not, you know, one of the best, if not the best academy in the US as a whole. I played there for my last year, and at a certain point while I was there, they said that, you know, we'd like to bring you into our first team. And because of this rule in the MLS, where they basically, as a youth player, you're kind of grouped into like an area based on where you live and where you're from. So where I lived in Houston, I was technically zoned to play for the Houston Dynamo. And so they said that I couldn't play for Dallas. Hearing that, we basically said, okay, well, if this is our option, then I'm going to go try in Europe. And so it was kind of just that extra little push that was like, yeah, like, let's go for it now. Let's take a chance. Getting to go to Bayern it kind of came up because I have a partnership with Dallas where they kind of help each other out in a way. And they had seen some of our games just watching us, and when they heard that I wasn't going to be in Dallas, they invited me over and it gave me that opportunity to be there for a few weeks. One of the main things that I took away from it is that it's possible to play there at that level, that it was very difficult and it was very fast and it was very physical, but it also wasn't something where I went back to the hotel room every night and thought to myself, you know, I can't do it here. I could go back and tell myself, like, okay, like, this is what I have to work on, or I did good in this area, but I need to improve in this area. I think that was the main thing that I took from it, is that it's not too far or untouchable to be there. that period after being in Germany was kind of just this waiting. You know, we've said we're not going to play here in the U.S. for the Dynamo at this point. When I heard about the fact that I was going to go to Hobro for a trial, it was through actually, you know, a coach at my old club in Houston. He kind of heard what was going on and was like, you know, I can call someone for you if you'd like. And so we talked about it, and we got in contact, and they kind of talked about everything and put it all together. And they're like, you know, yeah, this kid can come. And I got there, and kind of the rest is, you know, how it's kind of played out since then. Houston's a big city, one of the biggest in the US. So to come to Denmark, which is already a bit of a smaller country and a bit tighter, and then to go to a smaller town in this smaller country was, I mean, a huge change for me. But at the same time, I also didn't mind. I didn't really care, because I was getting the opportunity to do something that I dreamed of as a kid, and that was to have a chance to be a professional and to become a professional and to play. And for me, I didn't need anything else. When I first heard, you know, my agent called me, and I actually called him, and I was like, hey, you know, like, what's going on, you know, how you doing? And he was like, have you heard? I'm like, have I heard what? And he was like, you know, I think you're going to Brøndby. That was something that was so far off of, you know, any of ours, like, thinking. And so to have that happen, and then in the next few days to have it like actually come true, was something that it was unbelievable. When it came down to deciding, you know, I was like, okay, you know, like, give me a second. I hung up, and my wife is standing right there, and I'm like, you know, what do you think? And she was like, why'd you hang up the phone at all? Like, just say yes, sort of a thing. And so from that moment, it was just, it's been amazing. You know, the first home game this season, you know, we came out, and, you know, the stadium's more than halfway full for warm-ups, and that's something that, you know, I never really experienced before. So to see that and feel the atmosphere in the stadium was, you know, really crazy. But also, it's something that you play for, and it's something that, you know, you want to play for, and you want to play for these people that are supporting you. I think for all of us in the team to be able to play in front of the best fans in Denmark is something that's, you know, we don't take for granted in one day. And obviously to have the support that we do as a team is incredible. And, you know, for me to, you know, be able to look up and see, you know, a Texas flag in the stands and kind of hear about that was, yeah, crazy for me, because I never would have thought that would be something that, you know, would you know, ever happen or even think of happening. When I was younger, you know, my parents always, you know, telling us to just, whatever you do, do it the best that you can, you know, and if you fail, at least you can say, I did everything that I could, and you can not look back and think, what if I had done this, or what if I had done that? And I think that's something that is still with me to today, and that pushes me, that I can go out every training and say, I'm going to do everything the best that I can today. And that's something that pushes me, and that I want to be the best that I can be, to try to get us back to where we want to be, and competing at the top. Whether it's playing every game or whether it's, you know, playing 5 minutes a game or not playing at all, it doesn't, for me, it's about getting where we need to as a team. And then everything personally will come from that.